Alright, YouTube, it is Mr. Mean coming at you this fine Sunday evening. I hope everyone has had a fantastic, awesome weekend. Sorry my Brooklyn slipped out there. I apologize. I had a very long day. I just got back from the cities, the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, in the surrounding area. We went down for a little bit of shopping, a little getaway. There was no Friday night game last week because four of my players were out and unavailable, and so we decided to just call it and decided to do our own. Everybody can have a weekend off, so we'll do some housekeeping after the main video. This is just kind of a little update of all the goodies that I picked up while I was in the cities. I'm adjusting my audio, so hopefully it doesn't go in and out too bad. So I have a really cool game store here called Level Up. It's in Wisconsin. It's right across the bridge here. For those that don't know, the city of Superior is in Wisconsin, and Duluth obviously is in Minnesota. And there's a small bridge. It's like maybe a quarter of a mile that bridges the two together. And so I work in Wisconsin, and so therefore I'm over in that side of the town all the time, at least Monday through Friday anyway. And so I've developed a nice rapport with the owner, and he gets me things basically at Amazon cost, and sometimes gives me 10% off. But he's usually really good about getting everything in that I ask. Unfortunately, he's had a hard time getting the second part of the Adventure Path Age of Ashes in for me. I wanted the physical book because we're running that campaign in my Friday night home game. And unfortunately, he's had some issues. It's not his fault. It's Diamond Distribution. They seem to, I don't know what the issue is. But anyway, and then two of my players, I have 5 players. Two of my players it's the end of the summer, and one is a Boy Scout troop leader and one is a Boy Scout. And so they have their end of the summer big bang where for like 6 weeks they're off doing things, and all kinds of craziness. So I figured that was a great time to introduce a new campaign, and so we're going to be running Symbaroum, and so there'll be a couple of play-by-plays and some video, not play-by-plays, pardon me, I will not be streaming it, just because it's in my house, and I'm not set up to stream from my house. I've tried that, and it doesn't work. It's very chaotic, and the audio is all over the place, and it's just not feasible for me at this time. But we're going to run we're going to run Symbaroum for about 5 weeks. We had a one-shot session of Delta Green that my friend Darren ran, and it was a lot of fun. We had a really good time, so I'm sure we'll come back to that again. I like to introduce my players to new games when we can't all get together as a group, so that way we still get together, but then we're trying something new that they have never played before. So down in the cities, my goal was to pick up the GM screen, and unfortunately, when I was there the last time, about 2-3 months ago, they had it, and I went there yesterday, and they didn't have it, and so I was lucky enough to pick up a couple of nice finds. Nothing too exciting. Well, exciting to me. I enjoy my games, obviously, as you can tell. But I wasn't able to get in on the Kickstarter for Symbaroum. I've only been buying the books as I see them and stuff. And so this came out. The Symbaroum Treasure Hunts in Davacor. It's kind of like all you need to get started to play. And so what I'm going to do is not necessarily an unboxing, because I think there's enough of those on the video, but I'm going to kind of go through a little bit of what's in here, because I think it's for $30. I believe it was $29.99, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me. Your mileage may vary, but it was I believe it was $29.99. It was $30. And I thought for $30 this is kind of worth it. And the box is only about a quarter of the way filled. So if you had extra maps, if you had character, you could just keep your stuff. As a player, if you bought this, and I highly recommend it, you could take out the GM's /adventure book and you could just keep the player kind of part and the character creation part in here with the pre-made character, so you'd always have a character ready to go, which I think is great. They give you 5 pre-generated characters, all filled out on a standard Symbaroum character sheet. You do get a really neat little games catalog, which shows all of their games, which is kind of cool, so that's helpful. You get a full set of polyhedral dice. These are kind of a bluish green swirl. They're very nice. They're not specific to Symbaroum. They're just generic, probably, like Chesic dice. They're plastic. They seem to be weighted pretty good. I rolled them a bunch of times, and they all came up with different numbers. I never got a lot of repeats, because basically with Symbaroum, you need a full set of dice, a D20 on down. You don't necessarily need percentage dice. You just need a D10. Your flavor packets, aka silicate. Don't eat these, kids. That was a really bad joke. You do get a bunch of stuff in here. I was a little disappointed that on this day and age, the inside of the box, Cubicle 7's done a really great job of the Soulbound. If you've seen the Warhammer Fantasy Soulbound, the like Age of Sigmar role-playing part, they make good use of the inside of the box to make it like a GM screen, which I thought was a missed opportunity here. They could have put something in here, but this came out long before that Soulbound box set came out. So I not a missed opportunity, but they could have done something a little neat. But so what you get in here is you get, let's go through this. You get 5 character sheets. You get a human Ambrian knight. You get a human Ambrian witch hunter. You get a goblin treasure hunter. You get a human Ambrian thurge, and you get an ogre wizard ritualist, and you get Flared, a mythical being bodyguard. Now you'll learn more about that when you start reading it, because all of the documentation here is geared at these 5 pre-gens, technically 6 if you count the Flared, which is a guardian basically, that the Thurge can cast as a spell, and it will protect him, obviously. So you get a really cool 11 by 17 map. One side is Thistlehold, and with a legend, so that's kind of neat. And the other side is just the known part of Davokar, from the mountains all the way up to Davokar, the Dark Forest. So this right here, to me, was kind of worth it, because I don't have this. So that was very handy. There's also a role-playing. This is pretty much for role-playing, but it's a forested area of Davokar, and then there's a tower, which I'm not going to show too much of because I don't want to give it away, but it's part of the adventure that's in the book, which I might run for these guys because none of them know about it. So and then you get book 1, the starter rules. So this is everything you need to learn to start playing, from the game master side and the player side. This is everything you need, all the basic weapons. Anything that you're going to run into in this box set is covered in here. So again, this is really nice to have. And again, as a player, you could buy this box set and keep this with the box and use it kind of as your gaming box and a dice roller. I could even see people lining this box with a little bit of felt, and using it as a nice big dice box, which I think would be fantastic. And then the second thing you get, and the last thing, is book 2, settings and adventures. And this has all your basic information of Davokar and the surrounding areas, a little bit about Thistlehold, and then, of course, some starting adventures for the characters, which is awesome if you ask me. So I mean, it seems a little light. I mean, this is really all you get, but plus a bunch of dice, a standard set of dice for $30. It's a little bit on the steep end, but I think it's good, because the core rule book is like $50, $60, and then the player's book is another $35, $40. And then if you're going to be the GM, you're going to want the Game Master book and or the GM screen, or both. So you're well into $100, $150, $200. So $40 can get you the basics of all of that, everything you need to start playing. And if your group likes it, and you go, wow, as a GM or even as a player trying to show it to your GM to get him or her to run it, you've got the basics, and you're not out of pocket if the group goes, no, that's not for me. Because the neat thing about Symbaroum is the GM typically doesn't roll dice. Your players roll all the dice. So when one of my monsters or NPCs is attacking the player is going to roll a defense die. And if he fails, he's going to be hit. And then I'm going to roll, and you don't have to do it this way. You can make the player roll, but I, as a GM of this game, I'm going to roll the damage. So that way I kind of am taking a little bit off of the players and giving me a little something extra to do, because the nice part about Symbaroum is, as a GM, you're going to focus on the story, but this is also going to help me get a little oomph into the game for me and a little enjoyment out of it, because I like rolling dice, and I have a really cool dice tower that I want to use. So looking forward to that. So that's the Symbaroum game we're going to play this Friday. I am going to use that box to help my players and let them use the pre-generated characters if they so desire to use them, or if they want to make their own characters, they are fully welcomed to make their own characters. So pausing there, taking a deep breath, the next thing I purchased was the L5R 5th edition Game Master screen by Fantasy Flight Games. And I gotta say, this is beautiful. I love the 2nd edition GM screen. I'm a big fan of it. I don't have the 3rd or 4th edition GM screens because I wasn't playing those games. But I can't really do this justice with my setup here. But I'm just gonna pan this across the camera so you can see the screen. And hopefully that gives you a nice taste of what's in there. As far as the information on the back side for the GM, you get your rings. It tells you, one of the nice things I really like about the screen too is it tells you the page number for the relevant information that they've given. So if you need more in-depth information, if you need to know more, you can flip to that page really quick. Making a check, dice symbols, it kind of tells you what they are. It's right there on the far left panel. Turn structure, page 251, so I know how to resolve beginning of a turn effects, set stances, perform actions, and resolve the end of the turn. I know I can go to page 251 and I can figure that out. So I think when I run, and I've run L5R for a long time, second edition, and I've played 4th edition. 4th edition really wasn't. It was okay. I do own a bunch of the books. I own almost all of the 1st and 2nd edition books because it was really my jam, and I loved it at the time when it came out years ago. So skill groups, common conflicts, silhouettes, unarmed profiles, examples of spending honor, critical strikes by severity, NPC demeanors, just all commonly referenced rules, so that's really nice. I didn't even see that the first time. How to do initiative gives you the steps as well as the page number, and then common item qualities. So they introduced qualities into the game, I think right around the 3rd edition of the game. So we have ceremonial, cumbersome, damaged, sacred, razor-edged, prepare, snaring, unholy, and war gear. So those are some common qualities. And then we have common conditions: afflicted, disoriented, dying, that kind of wounded, incapacitated, so on and so forth. And then, of course, just a beautiful logo on the screen. And I apologize, I have a very bright white light behind the camera. And so, as you can see, if I hit it the right angle, you can see it there. So I apologize for that. But thank you, Brian, for that light, because it is invaluable. And now I'm not sitting in the dark doing these little videos. So that's the GM screen. Comes with a neat little booklet. I haven't really had a chance to flip through the booklet. It just says Game Master's Kit. So it's typically like any other Game Master kit. It's going to tell you a bunch of stuff. I see there's some stats in here for... a Gaijin smuggler. So very cool. I do like the new L5R stat profile of how they do it. It's very, very easy to read and understand, what, now I can't find it. I flipped right to it when I was opening the book, but now, there we go. So here's Boss Yaguro, a gang leader. So you can see, there's his stats. And that whole column is everything for him. So that's everything you have that you need to play this NPC. So very nicely done. I'm kind of want to play L5R now. which the group that I have, I think, would be really good at it. Darren has played in my L5R games before, and he's an excellent player when it comes to L5R, and I love running it for him because he makes me think. Darren is a very intelligent young man, and he's very methodical, and he sees the big picture, so it forces me to up my game, and I really enjoy that because I never know what Darren's going to do in a game, so it's pretty awesome. And then last but not least, I got Fantasy Age Layers. I had been eyeballing this for a while because I think Fantasy Age from Green Ronin Press is one of those games that doesn't get enough attention. I think this is a phenomenal game, and it's funny because I often gripe about D6 games and how I don't like them, but this is one of my favorite D6 games. And I saw this, and they had at the source, they had a nice little shelving layout of all the Green Ronin games. So they had Fantasy Age, they had Modern Age, and they had Titans. Can't remember the name of it, and it's Titan's Grave. And they had a couple other games, the Expanse. They had all their games on a shelf, and it looked really cool. And I saw this, and I remember this coming out last year when it came. I think it was last year it came out. Yeah, 2020. And I thought, oh wow, that's super cool. It's finally awesome that they did this, and they got a bunch of different authors to put in some really cool stories in here that have campaigns. Basically, this could be the basis for a campaign. So this is just a big book of adventures. It's pretty much a GM book. If you're a player, there's no need for you to buy this. But as a game master or a storyteller or a dungeon master, whatever you want to call yourself, grand purveyor of lies, like I call myself, this is a must buy in my book because it gives you layer actions and it gives you the major bad guys, locations, and layer stunts. And it tells you how to weave those in and how to use existing rules. So this is a rules expansion and a giant book of adventures. And I mean, it's hardback. It was $34.95, and it comes in at a whopping, excluding the ads, 125 pages with a full index in the back and a table of contents in the front. And I've flipped through about half of it now, and I'm really enjoying it. The adventures in here are very well written. All I got to say is buy it if you're into Fantasy Age, and if you haven't tried Fantasy Age and you're a GM, I highly recommend you pick this one up. It's really a bang for your buck. The GM screen is probably one of the best done GM screens that I've seen in the industry. It comes with a bunch of information and heavy cards that are dry erase, wet erase, that you can use, an initiative tracker. I mean, it's a GM screen that's very well done. It is worth every penny that you get. So if you're looking for a generic fantasy game where you have to create your world, but and maybe you're the creative type that has a ton of creativity, but you don't necessarily have the creativity to make rules, this is a great place to be, man, because it's got a built-in magic system, it's got a built-in faith system, it's got a built-in combat mechanics and social mechanics, and the stunt points that you use to do all of those cool things is really neat. So definitely give Fantasy Age a look. It is bar none one of my favorite games. It's in my top 10 for sure. So that's kind of the trip to the cities. It was a lot of fun. We took our kid to go play in a playground area next to the hotel that we stayed at. We got some shopping done. It was just a really relaxing, nice weekend, and I got to enjoy my family. So it was really cool, and it was pretty neat. I was kind of out of communication. It's a 2.5 hour drive there and back, so I'm a little tired. I'm pretty exhausted actually, and I just woke up from a nap and I'm still tired, and I have to go to work tomorrow, so it is what it is, but it was worth it. It was a lot of fun. We are up to so that's the end of the mini review of just of the things I picked up. I hope you found that informative, and hopefully you if you pick up any of that stuff, you let me know. I'm trying to unlock my phone. I apologize. if you pick up any of that stuff, let me know in the comments below. I believe all of it is available on DriveThruRPG. So you can use my affiliate link. I'm on PayPal, PayMe. If you want to support the channel that way as like a one-time donation. I'm also on ZellyPay. You can, if you're in the U.S., you can hit me up on ZellyPay. I'm also on, obviously, YouTube. And what else do we got? Oh, I have a Discord channel, obviously. Big shout out. It's very active. Wednesday nights I'm running Fallout Wasteland, the RPG by Modifius, the 2D20 version. I'm very excited about that. We had session 0 last Wednesday. If everything goes well, I'm going to record them because we're going to be using Foundry, and I'll record those and upload those to the channel. So I think I'm going to start a new channel called Live Play, and that's where I'll put that. So hopefully look for that in the coming future. If you haven't obviously liked and subscribed, please do. We are up to 928 subscribers, and that's thanks to all of you guys, because without you there is no me, and vice versa. So thank you for all your support, your love, and your attention. It means a lot. It helps me keep going and doing what I'm doing, and I love doing it. If you can support the channel through Patreon, if that's your deal, I have a nice Patreon where every month or so, not every month, but almost every month, I go into the library and whatever I have that I can send out to you guys, I do. Murphy999 just got a nice little care package from me last week with 3 books in it: first edition Frostgrave, first edition Gaslands, and then another book. I can't even think of what it was, but I sent that to him, and he got it in the mail safe and sound, and he's very pleased with it because one of the books he was actually going to buy, so he was pretty excited that he got that. So like I said, we're up to 928 subscribers. I do want to give a shout out to some of the new subscribers because I like doing that. Flim Film made a comment on my Low Life 2090, so thank you, sir or ma'am. I appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Sunsen 1592 wants to know when I became the RPG crawler. I'm not sure what he means by that, but hopefully I sent him a message. So 2 days ago, new subscriber Riku Castilla. So thank you so much. New subscriber Ken Christian, new subscriber John Steffens, new subscriber Yomatius. So thank you. I think that's all the new subscribers. Yep, that looks like it. Trying to think. New subscriber Ryan Haudd, Huard. Thank you so much. Yeah, that looks like about all. If I missed somebody, please give a note in the comments. Here's one more. 3 weeks ago, Moda Mosley and Lightning 123456. Very creative name, sir or ma'am. So thank you guys for subscribing. It means a lot. My goal is to get to 1,000 subscribers so that I can be monetized. I think that would be awesome. Part of the problem that this channel has is that it's a talking head syndrome, which there's a lot of talking head channels that do quite well and have thousands of subscribers. The problem is I don't support any of the big channels. So therefore, I don't get the influx of people like D&D or Pathfinder does. I do highlight a lot of Pathfinder stuff on my channel because I do enjoy Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but mainly I look at all the smaller games that are out there or the less known games. So hopefully if you're into tabletop RPGs and that's your gig, I should say, then this is obviously the channel for you, and I hope that you enjoy it. I should be getting my next Dungeon in a Box, which I'll do a review of here shortly. Other than that, kids, I think that's everything. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the notes below. I do read all of the notes as much as I can, and I try to reply to everyone. And, of course, hit us up on the Discord. There will be a link down in the doobly-doo. There's a link to MeWe, which is my social media of choice. There's a link to PayPal Pay Me. There's a link to Patreon and Redouble or Redbubble, whatever it is, my merchandise store. I'm trying to get a better logo. That reminds me, if you are an aspiring graphic artist and you want some attention, Everybody can see my channel logo. It is on the YouTube page. Feel free to play with that and send me your designs. I would like to get some t-shirts made, and I love the logo that I have right now. It was made by one of my earlier followers, and I haven't heard from him in a long time, and I hope he's okay. But I definitely want to get some t-shirts made, so I need the image in a couple of different formats and high resolution, so that I can put it on coffee mugs and mouse pads and that kind of thing. And so if you're into that, if you're a budding artist and you want some recognition, please send me a message, jpolak@gmail.com. Hit me up on my Discord. There is a universal link in the notes, in the doobly-doo, as we say. I would love to get a nice high-resolution image of either a riff on my current logo or a new logo if you're up for it. Standard rules apply. It will become my image. I will give you credit for it, of course, but it will be my image to use and do with as I please. So if that's something you're into, or you know someone who's a budding artist and wants to get their name out there a little bit, send them my way. So after all of that said and done, guys, have a blessed week. Peace and hair grease, and remember, Mr. Mean says, as always, be nice.